Eskimo Brothers Reviews. This is episode 4. Today we're doing 1 Hour Photo, filmed from 2002 with Robin Williams as the star. Again, my name is Soyboy Beta Cuck 69, and this here is Shadowman 0050.
Sup?
So Shadow here is going to tell you a little bit about the plot of the movie.
So I'd never seen this before today. Usually the name Robin Williams makes me go, but I had always heard this was like a much more serious take, or he was more serious in this role. So I was intrigued a little. He basically plays a lonely, creepy guy who works at a photo development place. This filmed in like early 2000s, so they were still around, but they were starting to die. And he kind of becomes obsessed with the family because he doesn't have any. That's the basic plot, probably.
Yeah, I had seen part of this before many years ago, so I didn't really remember much of it, so I thought this was a good film to choose for us. So something that we both really haven't seen, and we can give like honest reviews on it. As a whole, it was a pretty decent movie. As he said, when you think Robin Williams, you think like slapstick comedy and just wild craziness and like the non-stop talking. But this is a more serious role for him, and in his serious roles, I really enjoy them. You can tell the emotion he puts into acting and just the way he actually feels deep down.
The movie makes you feel kind of uncomfortable a lot.
Yeah.
Too. With the shots of him by himself.
Yeah. It was, so it was decent. It wasn't like an amazing movie by any means, but as a whole, it was
probably the most enjoyable thing with Robin Williams I've ever seen.
I would probably second that.
Yeah. I'd say that's probably his high water mark.
Yeah, I think what I really enjoyed about it was that it is called 1 Hour Photo, and like he said, it was, it's about a guy who works in this photo development place, and so you would think that, there's a lot of photography in there, and you would think that as a whole, it looks, just the way it looks should be similar to the title. So what I noticed was that there was a lot of interesting shots in the film. There were shots with mirrors. You had a lot of contrasting light and dark. You had there were no special effects really, so that was good. I like that because special effects in that era were not the best. But yeah, I noticed that they did do a lot of filters for a lot of their takes and a lot of their shots, and which was good because you can kind of tell it is like a darker, sad, I'd say depressing type of movie. So that really did help with the mood a lot. You could kind of tell. And see, they did also some weird things with just colors in general, where they would like there was one scene where the white balance was off, so it was filmed during the day, and Robin Williams' character and another character, they were all in the dark, and it was very strange. And it was something that just didn't seem like it fit well, because they were like shadow characters, and it was supposed to be in the bright light. Some scenes, like some of the colors were oversaturated, like the greens were hyper green, like way too green, unrealistic, and some of the other colors were kind of strange. But I still liked, as a whole, I liked the different shots they took and the different things they did.
Robin Williams' character's last name in this movie is Parrish.
You guys can take what you want from that. Alright, so let's get a little more in depth into this.
Yeah, I loved Robin Williams does the narration for the movie. That was, I thought, some of the things it says he said in the narration were really powerful.
Yeah,
Very good.
yeah. During the first part of the movie, at least that's when I saw it. There was a lot of narration from Robin Williams' character, kind of like in his mind, him talking to himself and him thinking about things. And to me, that kind of, you could tell there was something off with his character, but that kind of, personified him. It made him, seem human, even though you might not exactly feel the same way he does about things.
Yeah.
You can tell that, there's something going on, and, he might mean good, but he's just,
He ain't quite right, and he's lonely, and those two things don't go well together.
Never ever do. No. Yeah, so in the first, you can tell in the first couple scenes, in the first few minutes, even if you go into this movie blind, like, you have no idea what it's going to be about. You just know there's Robin Williams, so you might think, it's a different style movie, but yeah, within the first couple minutes, you can easily tell it's not a traditional Robin Williams film.
Yeah, he is creepy from the very start.
Yeah. Like, the first thing I noticed is that it is kind of like a dark fall day, and this family shows up at this store where Robin Williams' character works in this photo development kiosk, and the parking lot is just littered with dead leaves. So you already know it's fall, and fall typically represents death or dying. It's like the cycle that we always go through. Winter is dead, spring is like a rebirth, summer is like vibrant life. So we typically think of fall as that way. The sun's going down earlier. It's usually historically when the harvest would be, so food would start to dwindle in the winter. So it's just kind of a dark, depressing kind of thing. So yeah, that's like the first thing you see, and then they go into this store, and this family. The first scene is him just kind of just staring off into the distance. You can tell his mind's on something, or something's troubling him, or he's just not where he needs to be mentally.
He's got a great blank stare.
Yeah.
Many times in the movie.
Yeah, it's something that you can. I mean, I don't even know if you'd call it like acting or whatever. There's not like real action, but you can just tell, just based on this stare and the way he is, that there's something's up. But yeah, he typically throughout the film looks troubled and dark and lonely, and it just looks rough.
And the music helps paint that picture as well. There's sparse piano notes and some string arrangements that are kind of creepy, but not up front. It's very much in the background. It doesn't. You have to listen for it really,
Mm-hmm.
or pay attention to it.
Yeah, he was saying that the very subtle music kind of helped you like figure out the atmosphere and the mood of the scenes too, in addition to like I was talking about, the lighting and the things they did there.
So this place is like a generic kind of Walmart place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a stand-in for Walmart essentially, and both the mother and the father go in there at separate times with the kid, and they just let the kid run wherever. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, which if any of you have worked in retail, that's a common thing, unfortunately.
Yeah.
This kid's just running around doing whatever they want, destroying things.
Not that the kid was bad, but
Yeah.
he just it just you see that and you're annoyed.
Yeah, you shouldn't just be letting your kid just run off by themselves, and at any point in time. Yeah, another part in that was where the son had to go to soccer practice, and he was just by himself. But he was 9. He just had his 9th birthday, and so the kid's like going back and forth on his bike to soccer practice by himself, which I don't know how far it is, but that's not a good idea. Anytime.
Well, not in this movie.
Yeah, definitely not in this movie too. There is a lot of foreshadowing too. You can kind of tell. And yeah, in addition to the narration that we talked about earlier, he did have a very strange like a daydream scene, and where he's thinking about this family, and he's outside their house just kind of watching and just thinking, and goes into this scene that's a daydream, and it's pretty normal except for Shadow Man's favorite part.
So the daydream, you don't know it's a daydream till the very end of the daydream.
That's true.
So you just, like, it looks like he's walking into their house and looking in the rooms. And then it's just him taking a shit. Which is, I mean, it's funny. But then after you realize that was a daydream, that was part of his daydream, was taking a shit.
Yeah, he put that in there. Just the perfect day for him.
That's just him sitting on the toilet.
Yeah. Which I don't really daydream about that. I mean,
no.
But he's a different type of guy in that film. And then with this film and with many other films, there's you have to have characters with maybe uncommon names, something that you don't really get confused. So if you maybe search them on search engines or something, that's the first thing that's going to come up, like Soy Boy Beta Cuck 69. Like that's the first thing that's going to come up.
Or Parrish.
Or Parrish. But so in Robin Williams' character in this, his name is Sy, S-Y, which is I wouldn't say it's too common. And then there's a detective, a black man, and his name is Detective Vanderzee. And I thought, one, that's very strange, because I've heard of, Vander this, Vander that, but never Vanderzee. Additionally, that's a European name. It's a Dutch name, it's a German name, Austrian name, and he did not look like any one of those.
He could have been adopted.
He could have been adopted, that's true. But and he didn't have that type of accent or anything like that, so it just, to me, it was
normal.
It was strange. Another thing that kind of brings realism to this film is that it's 2002 is when this film came out, and like Shadow Man said, at the time there were these photo development kiosks, which now you can pretty much just take your phone into any of these places, just connect it, and you can print everything out by yourself. It's nice, simple, easy. Back then it was different. I had a close relative of mine who used to work at one of these places, and she said that she would, when people would come give her the film to develop, there would be plenty of interesting things, plenty of nudity, other just very strange and weird things that she would see. So it's crazy that you would give this to these people, and I mean, you might not think about it, but they have to go through these. They have to look at these and make sure everything comes out correctly. So you're putting all your privacy into these people. So
I feel like she probably shouldn't have been telling people about the photos. That's got to be a rule. You can't talk about
probably,
that
but that was like 20 years ago.
Disrespectful to the Jason.
That is true. So so it kind of brings a realism to this, because Robin Williams' character, sees these are regular customers of his, this family, that they always get their film developed by him at this place. So he knows them, he knows their address, he knows all their names, he knows their ages, so he sees them all the time. So he can kind of show you that at that point in time, it's definitely a believable thing. Something like that could definitely happen to us. I think that might be it for me. I think I went over everything I need to cover in this film.
Yeah, I think the last major thing I had to say was him taking a shit, so I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I liked the movie. It was
Yeah.
a good one.
As a whole, I liked it too. So, have you thought of what we're going to do for episode 5?
Yes. Next episode will be the 1987 movie The Running Man, based on the Stephen King book.
I don't know what that is, so I'm excited to see it. On that note, again, this is Shadowman0050. I'm Soyboy Beta Cuck 69, and we'll catch you next time.
See ya.
Thanks.